Right, thank you very much, everybody. I've talked a lot today about Hadrian's Wall, and one of the issues that we had, Hadrian's Wall is the largest World Heritage Site in Britain, and we think it's the greatest World Heritage Site in Britain. It stretches for about 180 kilometres. It has 12 major Roman forts and many, many small forts and mile castles along the way. But we know, even British people didn't know how big the wall was, and we wanted to really, really think about how we could engage the people of Britain with Hadrian's Wall. So this is the wall. You can see some of its great length here in the middle, and then you have some examples of small temples and forts, and some major forts, which are very regularly spaced all the way across the wall. And you can walk the wall from one end to the other, or you can cycle it. So we decided 2 years ago in March that we would try and illuminate Hadrian's Wall from one end to the other. And this is where our lessons in life really began. We didn't know in the beginning how we were going to make this happen. We didn't know what the mechanism was to make this happen. But we decided eventually that we would put 500 beacons or lights regularly spaced. Every 500 meters across the wall we would have a light. So who was going to carry these lights? How were we going to get all of these lights in place across such a long distance? And this is where, for someone who works with culture or heritage, this is a really important point. We decided, because we only are a small team, at that time we had 17 people and some people helping us with production, we needed at least 500 people to come and help us make this piece of art installation happen. So we put a call out in the press, in the media. We asked for people to come and to help us on the day to illuminate Hadrian's Wall. And this is where we were completely and utterly overwhelmed. Within 6 hours of the press release going out, we had our 500 volunteers already decided that they would come and help us. By 2 weeks later, we had over 4,000 people who had contacted us from all over the world to say they wanted to come and help illuminate Hadrian's Wall. So we thought, well, we can double 500 to 1,000, but we have to move these people around. So that was as many as we could take. So how did we choose the people? We asked them to write a story, a short reason of why Hadrian's Wall was important to them. And we've got just 3 of the 1,100 stories we had in the end here. We have someone from Italy, because I come from Italy, and Hadrian's Wall is a wonderful reminder of how great the Roman Empire was. I have studies in Latin and Roman history, and this is a wonderful event I wish not to miss. This one is from a local person in Newcastle. I'm so very fond of the wall. I find it a great place of beauty and relaxation. It's a joy to have such a historic, meaningful landmark so close to home. I would love to be part of this celebration. And then from Scotland, this kind of summed up what a lot of people said. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be part of an extraordinary event. Through a spectacular visual display, the public's imagination will be captured. Not only will this provide a visual spectacle, but will help inform people on the role the wall played in antiquity in our history. While it is a dominant feature of the landscape today, there is little sense of the scale and how the wall would have functioned. By bringing this visual spectacle to local people, it is celebrating what the wall means to people today and the past. So we chose our people. We had lots of people who had proposed marriage, who had got engaged, who had visited the wall with their grandfather, etc. And we then set to making the event happen. The event happened for 1 hour only on the 10th of March in 2010. We made the wall start at the eastern end of Hadrian's Wall in Wallsend, and we gradually, one by one, as each group of people with a beacon saw the light before them, they lit their own beacon, and the light traveled across the wall for 1 hour. And during that hour, over 50,000 people came to many parts of the wall and to each end of the wall to participate. And I can only tell you, because I was part of this crowd here, I might be the one with the red top on in the bottom, that the atmosphere was electric. And I couldn't believe just how many people this was so important to. So we had volunteers who paid themselves to fly from Australia, from Canada, from Belgium, from Italy, to come and participate in this event. And for us, it was an amazing opportunity to really feel the power of our history. And this is what it's all about. It's about the people. This was the atmosphere on the day. It was absolute excitement and joy. And the word that really summed up how everybody felt, it was as though we had honoured Hadrian's Wall. We had given it the honour it deserved from our history. But how do we use that today? I told people earlier we have been putting new interpretation into the museums across Hadrian's Wall. There are 12 major museums. This particular museum had in Carlisle, in the west of the wall, it had no evidence of its Roman history. And Carlisle was the place that the Romans administered the whole Roman frontier from. And today we have this beautiful, peaceful landscape where people come together, as you saw in the previous picture. And what we decided to do in this gallery was to really challenge people's thinking. How do we use the past and problems of the past and issues of the past and relate them to what is happening in the world today? So we decided we would rebuild a frontier like we see many countries building in the world today. We had it in Berlin, we have it in Palestine and Israel, in between South and North Korea, and many, many other places. So this is the recreation of one of those modern frontiers. So Hadrian was the first to build a wall 80 miles long to separate the Romans from the barbarians, who were the Scots at the time, and we're still building them now. So this is the gallery, which tells you more about the story of the Roman history. This information, these antiquities, are next to this very modern recreation of a frontier today. And what we are going to do on the 31st of August is we have a new arts installation, and I would love it if everybody could participate in this. We are going to place a series of weather balloons across Hadrian's Wall. We know how much interest and how many volunteers we can have to help us. But really importantly, what we're going to do this time with digital media is we are going to invite people all over the world to come online, to use their smartphones, their laptops, their iPads, and be part of this whole installation. We want people to tell us what their ideas of borders and frontiers are today. What does it mean today for you to live with a border or a frontier? Not necessarily a physical one. It can be an emotional border or frontier. It can be something in your mind. But please tell us what these ideas are. And those ideas will be gathered together, and digitally we will pass messages across the wall from one side to the other, and the weather balloons will change color. And what we hope is that we can create a worldwide conversation about the meaning of frontiers today, and also encourage people to think about how these frontiers and barriers can change over time. They can become less and less, and we can all begin to share, and you can end up with a situation where you have total peace, as you do with Hadrian's Wall today. So that's our big idea. it's the people, your audience, it's their excitement and their passion that help you really realize your ambitions. And for us, we want the world to know about Hadrian's Wall and to really honor this magnificent piece of engineering that the Romans put in place across the north of England. So this was just a small part of the illuminating of the wall from 2 years ago in the town of Carlisle, where nearly 12,000 people came to share in the celebration. They walked with torches to meet the light arriving in the city from the northeast of the country. So for us, it's been a great opportunity to really talk about Hadrian's Wall. But all that really matters is those people and how they feel about that experience. Thank you very much.